Panda. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe as well as follow me on all of my other social medias. Before I start this video, I just wanted to say that I will be attempting to do YouTube as a full-time thing. So I know that I've had my YouTube channel for almost 6 years now, I believe, and I haven't been that consistent with uploads, and I mainly use this YouTube for covers, for posting my originals, but a part of me kind of realized that I actually wanted to do YouTube not just for music, not just to show you know, my covers, my singing, but also I want to try to become a vlogger where I do makeup reviews, lifestyle videos, travel videos, because you know, why not? So if you guys have any ideas or video suggestions that you think I should do, feel free to comment that down below. Alright, so we're gonna get started with the video, and from the title, I'm sure you guys already know what we're gonna be talking about today. So from the title, of course, you guys can predict that yes, I will be talking about my COVID-19 experience, my journey, because as of today, I think it's October 18 that I'm filming this, or 19, my RT-PCR test came back negative from the lab. Yay! So you guys are probably wondering how I found out that I was COVID positive or where I got it. I won't go into too much detail, but I'll just tell you guys that my boyfriend and I got COVID from someone who was asymptomatic and had a negative antigen test. So what does that mean? Basically, he already had the virus in his system, but it was too low of a viral count or a viral load to show up on the antigen tests. And antigen tests are you know, the 15-minute ones. They swab, they drop it in like what looks like a pregnancy test, and it showed it's 2 lines if you're positive, negative if you're not. It's just 15 minutes, really fast, and that doesn't have as high of a sensitivity as RT-PCR tests do. RT-PCRs are more expensive, take 24 to 48 hours to appear. So the test that was used for the person who exposed us was an antigen test, so it wasn't as sensitive, meaning that the person already had COVID in his system, but it just didn't show up at that time. And it did show up as positive, I think 1 or 2 days later. And that was already the time where, you know, me and my boyfriend got it, and that's how I knew, because we had a photo shoot and my boyfriend tested positive on the antigen, because I did require that all of us would get tested, and so mine came up negative that day, but you know, living together with my boyfriend, I already knew that I was positive as well. So the next day, which is Wednesday, October 6th, I decided to get an antigen, and it finally showed up positive. So that was how it started. And actually, when I showed up positive on Wednesday, I had no symptoms. I was just sure that I was positive because my boyfriend was already having symptoms and we had been interacting. So basically in this video, I'm just gonna talk to you guys about my symptoms, how I felt, my thoughts, my emotions, and my journey up until yesterday, which is when I had my final RT-PCR and did eventually show up negative today. So let's get started. So like I said, I got antigen tested on Wednesday, October 6th, and I was positive, but at the time of the antigen, which was around 11 a.m., I had no symptoms yet. But I actually thought that I was like, oh, I'm asymptomatic, like I'm not gonna have symptoms, but the symptoms started later that night, and my first symptom was a runny nose. So pretty much like not even like bad congestion, it was just like a runny nose where I felt like I needed to grab a tissue every 10-15 minutes or so. It wasn't that bad, but I know that runny nose is one of the newer symptoms of COVID. So Wednesday night, that was my main symptom up until Thursday. Thursday was, I think, the peak of my symptoms, because Thursday I had a runny nose, a little dry cough, like little, like barely started. But my main symptom was I felt like I was down with the flu. So I had a mild fever, mild meaning like 99.5 Fahrenheit. I had chills. I was just feeling under the weather. I didn't have a lot of energy to get out of bed. So that was the day where I decided to consult my doctor and ask about which medications I should take, and I will be telling you the medications that I took. So I took vitamin C plus zinc twice a day. So my dosage was, I think, 500 milligrams vitamin C and 10 milligrams zinc in one capsule, and I took 2 capsules a day. Then I ended up taking I believe it was co-amoxiclav. It's an antibiotic to prevent like pneumonia or from your cough from getting worse. Most people take azithromycin, but I personally did co-amoxiclav because my body doesn't really like azithromycin. So yeah. And then my other medication that I took for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because those were the days where I felt like I had the flu or I had like an on and off fever, I took BioFlu, which is pretty much just like pain reducer, fever reducer, and flu symptoms reducer all in one pill. And then, oh no, wait, I also took Fluimucil, I think it's Fluimucil, but it's spelled like Fluimucil. Anyways, it's this little like tab that you melt in your water, in a glass of water every night. I got the one that's supposed to be taken once a day. There's one that's twice a day and one that's once a day. I took that for cough, so I think it basically breaks down like any mucus and like has the cough come out. So I was taking a total of vitamins, antibiotics, cough medicine, and BioFlu, and all of these I took for 7 days. That was as advised by my doctor. But yeah, going back to my symptoms, like I said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday were kind of the peak of my symptoms. I was really having a runny nose. I was blowing my nose. My cough wasn't as bad, it was just dry. I was feeling under the weather. I was having chills, especially the first night I had like body aches. And then I also had a loss of taste and smell that started on Saturday. So Thursday, Friday were like the peak of like my common cold flu symptoms. Then that slowly started getting better, because on Saturday and Sunday, that was when I finally had my loss of taste and smell. And when I tell you, a loss of taste and smell, like complete loss taste and smell, like I could not smell anything, even the strongest of scents. I could not taste anything, even the strongest of foods. I could not, because I guess that's just one of the symptoms that they say is pretty common with COVID. But that was like the weird part about it, because usually when I have a common cold, I would have loss of taste and smell when my nose is like really blocked up. But at that point, like I said, those symptoms were already getting better. Like my runny nose was almost gone. I had a slight dry cough. That's pretty much it. No more fever. But I just couldn't taste and smell. Like I could not. I was so sad because I was trying to eat like my favorite cakes and cookies, and yeah, it was horrible. And then that was my main symptom for the remainder of my experience. My runny nose was almost pretty much gone by like the following week, the whole week. I had a dry cough every now and then, but that was being controlled by the tablet and the antibiotics. So I can't really recall, like I didn't have like a day-to-day symptom, because that was it. Like I tested, was asymptomatic, had mild flu, common cold symptoms, that went away, had loss of taste and smell, and then that was it. So after 7 days, so I started my medicine, remember, on Thursday. The following Thursday, after 1 week, I stopped all my medications. Basically, the first, I should say, 4 to 5 days were the days where I felt like, oh yeah, like I have symptoms. Like, oh yeah, I have COVID, I'm feeling bad. But other than that, the rest of the days were just like me, you know, frantically checking my oxygen. One thing that I really am so thankful that I had was a pulse oximeter where I could check my pulse and my oxygen. I also had a blood pressure monitor, and I consistently checked that because, you know, I wanted to make sure that in the event that I needed extra help, oxygen, whatever I need, you know, I'd be aware of the numbers. But thankfully, I never had shortness of breath, nor did I have a lower oxygen, meaning that it was lower than 98. So my oxygen was always 98 above, which I'm super grateful for. Some in-between symptoms that I remember I had but weren't long lasting was just like fatigue, feeling weak, getting tired easily after walking up and down the stairs, but that probably only lasted a few days. So as of yesterday was my day 14 since I had symptoms, counting the day that I tested positive as day 1. That was also the day I started symptoms too. So starting from then up until yesterday, which is Monday, October 18th, that was my 14th day. And yesterday was also the day, as I mentioned before, that I did my RT-PCR test, which came back today as negative. So I kind of just wanted to make this video, not to just be like, oh yeah, I had COVID, here are my symptoms, but to also kind of touch on the fact that, one, I'm really lucky that I had probably the mildest of symptoms, because, you know, I've seen people with much worse. I've seen people who've gotten hospitalized. I've seen people who just struggle to breathe. And unfortunately, I do know a handful of people who did die from the virus. And I just wanted to let all of you guys know that the virus is real. And just because my experience was very mild, it was almost like I breezed through it as if it was just a common cold, does not necessarily mean that it's the same for everyone. And for those of you guys who are wondering, I was vaccinated with Pfizer. By the time I got COVID, I was fully vaccinated with Pfizer, which I personally believe is probably the biggest factor as to why I was able to get through COVID that smoothly. And so that's why I also highly suggest, if you have a vaccine available for you, please get it. I've seen so many people who have indeed benefited from the vaccine, and hospitalization rates really do go down after you are fully vaccinated. So this is just to say that I was really blessed, and I'm really thankful that, you know, I had the support system, you know, not just emotional but physical support from doctors, from friends looking out for me. So you guys know who you are, and my family members, thank you so much for, you know, consistently checking up on me. And I hope that you guys can use this video as, like, not just as a source of entertainment to see like, oh wow, Amanda had COVID, but also like for yourself and for your family members, that do your job to protect each other. Because I know in America, where I'm from actually, is all the mask mandates are pretty much gone. Like, it's almost as if there's no pandemic anymore. But here in the Philippines, the pandemic is, I'm not even sure if it's getting better. But if you are like from anywhere in the world, of course, please still do your part to protect yourself and others, but especially those in the Philippines. Please wear your mask. If you have symptoms, don't go out, don't see your other family members or friends yet. And of course, get vaccinated, because that is truly, in my opinion, what lessened all of my symptoms and what made my experience like that. So now, before I end this video, I'm sure you guys are wondering how I'm feeling now. Well, my current symptoms is none. So I haven't had any symptom, not a dry cough, not a runny nose. My taste and smell came back around 5-6 days ago, and that was also the time where like I had no symptoms. So I'm feeling great. I'm back to normal. I'm back to sleeping really late and watching K-dramas. But yeah, I think if I could describe how I'm feeling right now, is just grateful and blessed. You know, that I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm back to normal, I didn't have trouble breathing, and I'm back on YouTube to make videos for you guys. And because of this experience, I was inspired to become a regular YouTuber. So I hope to upload at least once or twice a week, more or less. And I will be doing a lot of videos on here, not just singing, lots of videos for you guys to get to know me more and my life. So thank you so much for watching this COVID-19 journey and experience. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can get updated whenever I post, because I will be posting a lot more. So thank you everybody, and I'll see you guys in my next video.